Welcome everybody to another episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today we're going to be traveling down to the Oklahoma Department of Corrections to speak about another inmate on inmate homicide. And when I was reading the details on this case, I said to myself, man, this sounds like a prison horror flick. Unreal what could be happening behind bars at any given day. So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the channel and enjoy all things lockup and crime related, then this is where you want to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Now first, before we talk about the incident that took place, let's take a closer look at the prison itself. Joseph Harp Correctional Center is located in Lexington, Oklahoma. It's the state's largest medium security unit, housing up to 1,400 offenders. 84% of the inmates housed at this prison are violent criminals, and 10% of the inmates are incarcerated for first-degree murder. Now this prison, just like every single other one, has a mental housing unit, right? And that's where the killings took place in this story. So let's take a closer look at these units. Believe it or not, this prison has multiple mental housing units, kind of like a step-down program. One of the units is 23-hour lockdown 7 days a week. If you're not acting up, your meds are working, and you're normalizing a bit, then they'll drop you down to one of these other two pods. Now the other two cell blocks is more of a general population field. They get more freedoms, but they're still being medicated. And not to mention, watch closely from the staff. One of these pods is where Mr. Alvarez lost his life. And if I were to guess by reading the details of the case, he was probably in more of a GP style mental housing unit. But anyways, now that we got a closer look at the environment, let's jump into the gruesome details of the case. Mr. Timothy Alvarez, sitting at 5'6", only 125 pounds. But these are a list of his crimes. It says in 2014, he had assault and battery on a police officer. And this is where it kind of gets confusing. It says in 2017, he gets charged with 3 more crimes. 2 of them is for assault on a police officer once again. Now, I don't know if it was just a probation violation. Sometimes when you're under that violation, the same charge will be listed again. It looks like it's a new one, but really it's just the same one. 1 out of 3 is kind of new. It says prisoner placing bodily fluid on a government employee. So maybe he got hemmed up and you know, that's what a lot of inmates do when they're mad or want to get stuff done, get transported to another unit. All kinds of reasons why they might want to throw some urine or any kind of other bodily fluid on a correctional officer. He might have just thrown it on a police officer. I don't know. Either way, this guy has nothing but assault on law enforcement officers on his record. That's it. And as you can see, the current facility he's in is outside because obviously, you know, he passed away. Now keep in mind, Alvarez is 5'6", 125 pounds. Very tiny, all right? The guy that ended up killing him in his cell, Mr. Paul Newberry, is sitting at a whopping 6'4" at 200 pounds. The size differential here is massive. Not to mention, it looks like Mr. Newberry here might be a part of the Aryan Brotherhood of some kind. Got the clover and some stuff in it. I don't know, man. There's all kinds of variations of that clover out there, so I could be wrong. But if you were to ask me, old Alvarez never stood a chance. And this is the crazier part, all right? Let's get into the details on how it happened. And I forgot to mention, Mr. Newberry, he was sentenced to life without parole for the killing of a Cherokee County man in 2015, so this guy already pretty much ain't got nothing to lose. Now Alvarez, the inmate that was killed, had a cellmate, and his cellmate told investigators that word was Mr. Alvarez snitched on a correctional officer for bringing in tobacco. He said that Newberry told him that day he was going to beat up Alvarez for snitching. Alvarez's cellmate said Newberry came to their cell and asked him to go clean the showers. First and foremost, nobody in prison, not one given time, is ever going to ask me to go clean nothing. I clean things when I want to, man. So that right there shows a little bit of force. He's demanding people to go clean showers and stuff, and they hop right up to it. You know, unless he was a house man and that guy was like a cleaner crew too, then yeah, he could probably, you know, shovel them off to go do some cleaning. But if I were to guess, homeboy hopped up out of pure fear. This dude's 6'4". Got life without parole, man. Yeah, a lot of people hop up, start cleaning the damn shower. Anyways, the cellmate said that Newberry came to their cell and asked him to go clean the shower. He said he went to get the cleaning supplies, and when he turned around, Newberry was gone. Alvarez's cellmate said Newberry walked out of the cell covered in blood about 5 minutes later. Once Newberry left the cell, he went to go look for a correctional officer to tell what he had done, but there was none around. It wasn't until the nurse came around when he went up to her and showed her all the blood on his hands and told her what he did. They locked it down, and it turned out when the officers finally got to the cell, they seen a screwdriver shank still stuck in the side of Alvarez's neck. What's even scarier is how it went down before it went down. It seems as though Mr. Newberry gave Alvarez a chance of survival. There's an emergency button in the cell, and that button in this cell block opens the cell doors as well. When 6'4" Mr. Newberry walked into that cell and closed the door, Alvarez was on the top bunk. Newberry handed them the shank and said, "Look, you're gonna die today. If you can make it to that button and open up the cell door, you can live." Mr. Alvarez probably couldn't believe that this guy's handing him a shank, saying, "If you can pretty much kill me or press that button, you're gonna live. If not, you're gonna die." The report says that Alvarez got off his rack and tried to go around Newberry 3 times before he finally tried to stab him. That's when Newberry yoked him up, grabbed the shank back from him, beating and stabbing him to death, leaving the weapon in the side of his neck. It just blows my mind to hear stories like this. Now, after everything happened, Mr. Newberry talked to the detectives and he said that he's a Satan worshiper. But he wasn't here to make sure that hell's packed. He just wanted to be transferred to a new unit. Turns out he actually requested to get out of this unit and they denied him. So he said he was going to kill everybody in the pod, but changed his mind and decided just to kill Mr. Alvarez. So if you were to ask me, man, once again, classification's at fault here. Not so much because of the housing, because obviously the dude wasn't his cellmate. He was in another cell. He just went into that cell to kill him. But the fact that Mr. Newberry wrote to classification or whoever to get up out the unit should have been taken into consideration a bit more, right? Anybody with life without parole asking to be moved because they're having issues, man, they should be moved. That's where they're going to be living for the rest of their life, man. So, if you don't give them what they want, chances are they're going to make it happen. And everyone knows, man, majority of inmates know how to get to these solitary confinement units. Just kill someone. Or beat the hell out of a correctional officer, one or the other. But, they look at it like if they were to beat the hell out of a CO, then it's going to really make their time hard. The report also said that Mr. Newberry already had his stuff packed. And that's another big red flag for anybody that might happen to see the penitentiary. If you're having an issue with someone and you see him dip off and go start packing up his stuff, it ain't usually because he's going to check in. It's usually because he knows what he's going to do to you is going to land him in the side pocket. Always be on guard if you see any kind of movements like that. People going to their cell, putting on their shoes, people going in there to pack up their stuff. It could mean something more serious is on its way. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, this is the saddest part about everything. The family didn't even know about Alvarez's death until someone called them saying you need to watch the news. That's unreal, right? The news channel got more details on this death before the family. But that is the bulk of it, another life without parole inmate just trying to get moved to another housing unit. My condolences go out to the Alvarez family, and hopefully, you get some justice when it comes down to, not being informed about your family's death before the news. Absolutely disrespectful if you're to ask me. But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I got plenty more content coming your way as always. I did an interview yesterday, went about 2 hours. Yeah, it's a different one for sure. This guy did about 12 years in the Florida prison system as a neutron, non-gang affiliate. So be on the lookout for that here soon. And as always, until the next time, y'all be easy, be safe, and more importantly than anything, stay free.